Morning, ma'am.
Good morning. As what I said in our GC, this will be our last synchronous class for this subject this semester. So I hope after this week, maybe next week, I will just give you a learning material as additional coverage for our exam for May 16 to 21. Are you aware with that? Exam natin?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Okay, thank you for the response. So review well ha. Ang coverage natin, cover to cover. Okay, from the week 1 until week 16 or next week. The learning material next week. So habol na lang yung mga hindi pa naka-attend. After the synchronous, we will be having your quiz. Okay, I scheduled that for 11:30. Finish that before 4 p.m. Okay? From week 10 to 15 yung ating topics doon sa ating quiz. Okay, I already told you or messaged you yesterday or yesterday night. Everybody, open your cam. Before we start, let us screenshot. Good morning, City Aina. Parang
Morning po.
kagigising ah. Nasa work sa Ranadine. Okay, let us screenshot ha. Okay, smile, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, I'm going to present to you the learning material last week. Okay, para before you take the quiz, I had to, Resta, Riza. Okay, I will check the attendance of Resta, Riza.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Raisa. Okay, hindi ka nakasama sa picture. Open your cam mo naman. Ulitin natin. Okay. Thank you. Okay, again. 1, 2, 3. Ayan. Ay, hindi naka-open yung cam ni Remeline. Remeline, okay, ayan. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Ayan, napakagaganda nyo naman. Uy, sus, umiyak na yung anak ko. So here, I'm going to discuss the global migration. I know almost all of you or all of you already have the knowledge of the migration. As we already discussed this, napahapyaw lang about migration last meeting natin, last synchronous class natin. So I am expecting you that after this discussion, you can distinguish the different global civilization and categories, analyze the political, economic, cultural, and social factors underlying the global movements of people, and reflect on the experiences of OFWs. Okay? First review tayo. What do we mean by demography? Anyone? Demography. What do we mean by demography? Raise your hand. Okay, Riza. Riza?
Ma'am.
Okay, ano ba yung
Ma'am.
tinatawag nating demography?
Ano, ma'am, yun yung mga tawag dito na ba mga May nasa ko.
Kaya mo yan.
Mga concern, ma'am, concern statistics, birth rate, or mga sa tao din, ma'am, sa mortality, ganun.
Okay. In short, that is
Mortality rate.
okay. Very good. Thank you, Liza. In short, demography is a study. Okay, statistical study about human population. Okay, we can study the birth rate, fertility rate, mortality rate, the population growth, which are under demography. How about global civil society? Angel?
Ma'am.
Okay, what do we mean by global civil society?
Yun po yung mga changing perspective on technology and technological advancement.
Okay,
And
very
yung movement ng international organization.
okay, very good. In short, the globe or the global or around the world is already innovating, nagiging civilized, industrialized. Okay, and different companies like MNCs are operating across borders. Okay, and beyond the reach of our governments. How about global demography? Global demography. Si Carmela, wala siya kanina. Remelin. Remelin?
From the word itself, globally po yung ano po ng mga birth rate, mga statistics po na mas global po siya, mas malawak po yung sakop po ng global.
Okay, global demography, mas malaki yung sakop niya kasi globally. Pero aside doon, when we say global demography, these are the issues. Okay, mga issues concerned with the demography or the human population. Ano ba yung nakakaapekto? Yung mga issues, mga trends about the human population. Like paano ba naaapektuhan yung population growth? Valdez Rechalan is entering. Okay, paano ba naaapektuhan yung ating human population? Like, migration, isa yun sa mga issue. Bakit lumulobo yung populasyon? O bakit bumababa yung populasyon? Diba? Mga birth rate, yung mga advancement of technology. Diba? Because of the advancement of technology, medicines, bumababa yung mortality rate or yung mga tinatawag nating death rate. Tama? Fertility rate, dahil nagiging industrialized, knowledgeable na tayo, diba? Bumababa rin yung fertility rate or yung bilang ng anak ng every mother. Yung mga birth rate, di ba? Na nagiging knowledgeable na mahirap palang magpalaki ng bata kaysa sa mag-provide ng daily needs, di ba? Those different issues are what we call global demography. Again, what do we mean by by population growth, birth rate, fertility rate, and mortality rate? Sa Ranalyn kanina nagtataas ay I didn't call her a while ago, so it's your time now, Remelin. Remelin? Remelin, si Doc Quenya pala yun? Renalyn pala, I should say. Renalyn, Doc Quenya.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what
May
are the
napakasing signal ka, ma'am.
Ay, oh, sorry. So, nagtataas ka kanina ng kamay?
Yung sa ano po kasi, sa ano, ma'am, global demography po sana, ma'am.
Sige, ngayon na lang. Okay, yung define mo yung differences ng population growth, birth rate, fertility rate, and mortality rate.
Ito po yung mga nakakapekto sa ma'am, sa global demography. Population growth, ito po yung paglaki po ng populasyon sa ating bansa, sa pangkalahatan po. International, hindi lang po sa Pilipinas. Birth rate, ito po yung bilang ng mga pinapanganak sa loob ng isang taon sa buong mundo. Including po dito yung fertility rate and mortality rate. Ang po yung mortality rate po yung sa mga namamatay po. Ito ba?
Okay, thank you. Exactly. And also the fertility rate, ito yung total number or average number of children of every woman or mother. Okay, thank you. Now, next slide. We have here the classification of the world. Okay. Before, during the Cold War, leaders all over the globe agreed to classify the world into 3 categories. We have the first world, second world, and third world. Hindi na bago ito sa inyo because na-discuss na natin ito sa Global North and Global South. Diba? Na after a couple of years, yung 3 classification na ito naging Global North and Global South or tinatawag nating developed countries and developing countries. Tama? Pag sinabi nating first world before, ito yung mga states which have income, high income, and are capital rich. Okay? Capitalism. Itong first world na ito. Ang nagpapatakbo ng mga companies ay yung mga private owners. Okay? Yun yung nagpapatakbo. Second world, it refers to the former communist, socialist, industrial states. At in short, pag sinabi nating second world, ito yung pinapatakbo ng government. At kapag wala sa first world and second world, it refers to third world. These are the nations not aligned with either the first or second world, which are also called developing countries, which our country, the Philippines, including India, Africa, are also part of this third world, as they are or we are still in developing countries. The aftermath of the Cold War, na tinatawag, which ended the bipolarity of the world's hegemonic powers. This is a belief that the power of a certain country is more or above the others. Mas makapangyarihan sila. So, bipolarity, dalawa. Ito yung Western Bloc and Eastern Bloc. Western Bloc, ito yung mga tinatawag na Global North. Mga mayayamang mga bansa. Like United States, its NATO allies and others. Mamaya, mapapakita ko yung mapa. Eastern Bloc, ito yung Soviet Union and its satellite states, or tinatawag na Global South. This left the United States as the remaining superpower of the world. By 1989, the US had military alliances with 50 countries, therefore bringing to the life the American era. As superpower, the US relied on its strong democracy and capitalist market to promote free market capitalism and further emphasized its global power. However, its success in promoting such market led to dispersal of power to several other countries. Kaya dito, nagkaroon ng rise of the rest. Trisha Tabu. Ito yung rise of the rest na nagbibigay or nagdi-diffuse ng power of states to other actors. Hindi lang US. Okay? At dahil dyan, it refers to a period of power imbalance. Okay? Meron ng nag-aangat-angatan na. Imbalance kasi hindi pantay-pantay. Okay? The classification of the countries into 3. the what we call the first world, second world, and third world was changed into classification. We have the developed and developing. Yung kanina, sabi ko pakita ko yung map, ito yon, yung Western and Eastern Bloc. Yung Western, ito yung sa red, France, UK, US, Italy, Austria, Spain, okay, Norway, Sweden. And the Eastern Bloc, ito yon, Soviet Union, mga allies niya like Poland, Romania, Hungary, okay, Bulgaria, okay. Those are the countries under Western and Eastern Bloc. Okay. Now, yung napalitan, yung 3 classification into 2, the developed and developing. Okay, baka magtaka kayo. Ito yung kanina yung sinabi ko. Okay. Napalitan siya and merged to highlight economic inequalities of states. Okay? Kaya nagkakaroon na ng migration. Okay? It motivates people just to move from one country to another because of these economic inequalities. Imagine natin yung mga OFW, they go abroad in order to satisfy their daily needs, okay? To attain the ways of living they are aspiring for, okay? And this movement of people from one country to another is what we call migration. In fact, migration is not just from one country to another. When we say migration, this is the movement of people from one place to another, because there are 2 types of migration will be discussed later on. Okay? Yung mga developed and developing countries, anong pagkakaiba ulit? City Aina, kindly differentiate the 2. Kung naaalala mo pa.
Ano po, yung developed countries, yung ano po, parang ano na, meron na po siyang mga result, outcome na ano na sila, parang successful na yung ano nila ho, yung countries nila in terms of mga economic, tapos yung technology advancement nila matataas na po. Tapos yung developing po is yung parang on process pa po yung ano nila, yung pag-angat nila, kumbaga ano ho, step by step sa starting point na po sila or nasa middle point na po.
Okay, thank you, City Aina. Correct. When we say developed countries, ito yung mga countries with high salaries, progressive economies, and advanced technological infrastructure. However, when we say developing countries, ito yung mga low-income countries with less developed industrial bases. Sabi mo nga kanina, on process pa lang, kaya nga developing. As physical and human geographies develop, the world is becoming connected. Civilization become global civilization. O, di ba? Hindi lang ngayon yung sa mga global north ang nade-develop, nasi-civilize. Pero pati na rin tayo. Okay? Kaya nga sinabing global civilization. Through the rising global civilization, the world has turned into multi-power. Or multipolar power, I should say. In the words of Samuel Huntington, he argues this, the rivalry of the superpowers is replaced by the clash of civilizations. In this new world, the most pervasive, important, and dangerous conflict will not be between social classes, rich and poor, and other economically defined groups, but between peoples belonging to different cultural entities. Ito, may tinatawag tayong mamaya na cosmopolitanism. According to Huntington, the global civilizations are divided into the following categories: like Western, Latin American, Islamic, Sinic, Hindu, Buddhist, Orthodox, Japanese, and African. At present, people from this global civilization constantly move from one place to another just to achieve economic stability, democratic freedom, and holistically good life that their home countries might not be able to offer. That's why we have OFW, because they have no democratic freedom and they cannot achieve the economic stability they are aspiring for, and the holistically good life, okay, na gusto nila for their family. That's why they migrate from our country to other countries. Okay. We have here cosmopolitanism, the adhere or belief in the world state. It is the ideology that all human beings belong to single community. Okay, ito yung belief na nasa isang community lang sila. Hindi lang ito tumutukoy sa rich and poor, hindi lang ito sa economically progressive countries, pero they are belong to a single community and can be linked to globalization. It began its journey when the world moved towards a single moral community, from simply believing that the world could be governed by one state. Merong hegemonic power. Ito yung belief ng cosmopolitanism. Okay, there are three elements of cosmopolitanism. We have individualism, the universality, and generality. When we say individualism, okay, cosmopolitanism believes that the human being is ultimate unit of moral concern. Okay, every one of us is an ultimate unit of moral concern. Okay, we are morally knowledgeable and upright. Universality, all human beings are equal moral worth. Okay, lahat tayo pantay-pantay. Walang mayaman, walang mahirap. Yan yung paniniwala ng cosmopolitanism. Generality, it implies that human beings have necessary concern for each other. Okay, tama nga naman. Okay, that is according to POGI 2018. Okay, thus understanding this concept of cosmopolitanism requires an in-depth understanding of the role of moral integrity among people. And through this concept, the global city in globalization has come into existence. Okay? Kaya may global city, may sentro. Di ba napag-aralan natin to last time? Okay, global city. And also, some critics say that it is impossible to transcend moral and cultural aspect of societies on an international level. Okay? Migration can be linked to this cosmopolitanism in the way that it enables people to agree on a common moral standard, which is influenced by how different cultures come in contact with one another as people move from one place to another. And there are two types of migration. We have the what we call internal and international. Okay? Pag sinabing internal, any movement from one place to another in the same country. Examples here in our provinces, they go to Manila. That is internal migration. And also, pwedeng for the economic stability, for the freedom, or something. International migration, it is the movement from one country to another, like OFW. Okay. There are factors why people move from one country to another or one place to another. We have social inequality, okay, economic depression, and freedom deprivation. Okay, economic depression, freedom deprivation, and social inequalities. These factors are the reasons why cosmopolitan ideas exist. They occur at present since the concept of cosmopolitanism adheres to the equality and moral integrity among men. It plays a role in why people migrate. It is clear that migration is and will always be a trend. Some experts say that migration also has its own catalyst, for it fuels the population growth of a region or a country. Internal migration is also known as local migration and has always been driven by economic sustainability. Okay. In the midst of globalization, nations around the world engage in trade to promote and strengthen relationships among them. There is no global government that could govern all nations, according to Henry Now in 2009. transnational relations exist in the present world because countries trade with one another and population move across state boundaries. Okay? Due to transnational relations and growing demand of economic wealth, migration exists, right? It is defined as the form of social behavior that both shapes and is shaped by broader social and economic structures and processes of transformation that is according to International Migration Institute in 2011. Okay, however, okay, we have here the definition of Boswell. Migration is not only rooted in economic aspiration, but also in political motivation. Okay. For centuries, this trend has been existent because of the necessity to explore and gain natural resources. Okay, at present, global migration is a unique concept. Okay, there are three categories of global migration. We have voluntary, economic migration, forced displacement, and refugee crisis. Itong voluntary economic migration, okay, this is rooted in the pursuit of economic stability. Okay, it is usually seen in the condition of people in the south, such as the regions of Asia and Africa. Okay, people here go to global north or to the developed countries for their economic stability. Okay. However, forced displacement and refugee crisis, okay, these two, okay, they are forced, okay, they are forced to move from one country to another, from one place to another because of issues like war, um, calamity, and different issues. Okay. Okay, and both of them could be traced to the factors that state tyranny or corruption also, or the fear of violence such as civil war. And to sum it up, there are several effects of migration in a particular country. There are different scenarios and different factors why people migrate. Migration plays a vital role in social, economic, and political aspects of the Philippines. With the other reliant on labor export, OFWs, are seen to be major economic drivers of the country. They affect the economic sustainability of the country through their remittances. Tama. In addition, this is also reason why countries' foreign policy focuses on labor export. Another effect of migration in the Philippines is the brain drain. In 2009, the Philippine Institute of Development Studies found out that 50% of employed Filipino immigrants have tertiary education. Okay, 50% lang. And from the 50%, only 14.6% of them are managers and professionals. Napakaliit, di ba? 26.6% of them are working as technician and clerks. And the rest are operators known as service workers. These are the references. May mga question pa?
None, ma'am.
Okay, please open
Wala
your
po.
cam. Again, thank you everyone. I hope you learned from this discussion and be ready. Just take your quiz right after this one and finish it before 4 p.m. Or if you could submit it early from 4 p.m., much better. Okay? Wala lang tanong about exam? No more? Okay. If none so far, thank you so much again. Have a blessed and great day ahead. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you po.
Goodbye and thank you.